The royal family has kept many secrets, but this one couldn't stay hidden forever. Catherine, Princess of Wales, broke down in tears as the truth came out. A fourth child, kept secret from the public. For years, she carried the weight alone, quietly, privately. Behind every smile was pain the world never saw. No one was supposed to know, a palisade said. Not like this. Now the world is asking, why the secrecy? And what has it truly cost her? The quiet beginning that changed everything. The transformation didn't begin with grand announcements or royal proclamations. There was no ceremonial decoration, no glittering crown to mark the moment. It started with something far more intimate. Thin pickles on toasted brown bread. In the early months of 2013, while carrying her first child, Catherine found herself yearning for these simple comforts. Hidden away in her private quarters, far from the relentless media gaze, she battled an invisible war within her own body, a struggle that would reshape how we understand royalty and motherhood forever. I was unwell, terribly unwell. From sunrise to sunset, I felt no relief. Catherine would later reveal in a rare moment of vulnerability. The royal household has recently acknowledged what many suspected. Another baby might be on the way. As whispers swirl through Buckingham Palace's gilded corridors and the media erupts into speculation, minds drift back to that fragile beginning when Kate, newly welcomed into the royal fold, embraced the most humbling identity of all, a first-time mother. But what happened next would leave even seasoned royal watchers speechless. From those earliest days, Prince William stood as her unwavering guardian. He looked lost. There was a pain in his eyes. She shared in an emotional interview. He wished he could take it all away, but he couldn't. When Kate's body turned against her, her suffering had a name, hyperemesis gravidarum, a severe, unrelenting form of morning sickness that left her incapacitated for days, sometimes weeks. Even standing upright would trigger waves of debilitating nausea. Eating became torture. Movement turned into torment. Even when I felt like there was nothing left in me, my body still carried life. That felt sacred, she whispered. In those moments of frailty, she discovered something unexpected, not from royal advisors or trending blogs, but from within herself. Hypnobirthing. It was quiet. It was personal. It was hers. People think it's William whispering sweet things in your ear, she chuckled gently. But it wasn't that. It was me, reminding myself I could do this. She embraced it fully, learning to breathe differently, to visualize her birth, to steady her mind. Slowly, she rewrote the story in her head. Labor wasn't a trial. It was a rite she was destined for. Hypnobirthing is about reclaiming the birth experience. It lets women trust themselves again. Praise specialist Naomi Wilson. Even with that inner transformation, the sickness clung like a shadow. I didn't glow, Catherine admitted with a shrug. I got through it. But there was more to this story than anyone knew at the time. What kept Kate going through it all? What kept her going with the small joys? Avocados, buttered toast, warm mugs of tea. And then there was the curry. Not just any curry, but a lovingly prepared vegetable blend from a modest wellness store in her hometown of Bucklebury. Owned by kind-hearted couple Chan and Hashi Nadia, the shop became her sanctuary. She'd come in so quietly, Hash recalled, always smiling, always grateful. She adored that curry. Sometimes her mother came by, sometimes her sister, but Kate, she always called it her little escape. That dish became more than food. It was therapy. Imagine that moment. A future queen curled on a couch, spoon in hand, closed her eyes over a bowl of warm spices and care. Far from flashing cameras and watchful crowds, she was simply a woman navigating the storm. This unguarded side of her, the imperfect, unpolished version, was what endeared her to millions. Over time, the world came to know Catherine as someone unafraid to pull back the curtain. She once confessed to re-wearing gowns to official events, not out of necessity, but principle. I just don't like waste, she said with a small smile. That honesty, that humility made her real. She was a duchess who worried about her speeches, who fretted over her children, who craved pickles more than designer jewels, and who bravely spoke about the hidden burdens women silently carried during pregnancy. The day William truly became dad. "Pregnancy changes everything," she once said during a speech on maternal health. "It doesn't just affect the mother, it touches everyone." She emphasized how deeply William felt the weight of it all. She remembered his footsteps pacing outside the bathroom, his terrible jokes attempting to distract her when even water became unbearable, his hand always ready in clinic corridors and waiting rooms. He couldn't solve it, but he never stopped trying, she said. In those months of exhaustion and fear, their relationship evolved, not just as a royal couple, but as equals, as soulmates navigating the unknown. Then came that unforgettable moment in July 2013. Crowds gathered outside the hospital. Reporters shouted. Flashes exploded like fireworks. But behind the doors of the Lindo wing, there was peace. A new mother, a proud father, and their sleeping newborn son. The day George had to grow up. Dawn crept quietly over London. The sky a muted silver, as though the world itself had paused. Inside Kensington Palace, golden light filtered softly through linen drapes. Yet within those walls, the air was thick with uncertainty. Catherine lay motionless beneath the covers, her hand resting weakly atop the quilt, her skin almost translucent against the ivory fabric. Her breathing was shallow, her eyes fluttering open to catch the faint outline of the wall clock. Time had lost all meaning. "Forgive me," she murmured, barely audible. "I should be the one going." From the shadows, Prince William crossed to her bedside. Gently, he brushed a hand across her forehead. "He knows you'd be there if you could. That's enough for him today." Beyond the door, little Prince George stood waiting in his new school uniform. "Mommy," he called, his voice small. As William stepped into view, George looked up expectantly. "Is Mommy coming?" Kneeling down, William met his son's gaze. "Mommy needs a rest today, but she really wanted to come. So it's just you and me, champ. Think we can handle that?" They stepped out together, just father and son, without ceremony or guards, but with quiet purpose. The hidden truth behind Kate's glowing return. The revelation came softly, like golden morning light, whispers, private messages, and swelling online threads. "She always shines," a fan tweeted, "but this glow is different." At a school appearance in Norfolk, subtle clues sparked theories. The way William stayed a step nearer than usual. How Catherine's hand lingered on her coat a heartbeat longer. Her smile had a new softness, not formal, not rehearsed, but gentle, as if she held a secret too precious for words. "Is the rumor true?" A journalist asked one aide near the palace gates. The aide didn't say a word, just smiled knowingly. Then came the confirmation, discreet but powerful. "The Prince and Princess of Wales are pleased to share that they are expecting their fourth child." Those few lines were enough to set the internet ablaze. Questions bloomed across tabloids and Twitter alike. Another boy to join Louis in royal mischief? Or a sister for Charlotte? But the palace remained silent. No clues, no hints. Only the king and queen offered words. "We are thrilled. Every child is a gift." When William was seen days later at a public service project, his joy could not be masked. "She's doing well," he said softly. "We're deeply thankful." But beneath this joyful announcement lay a deeper story that would soon shake the foundations of everything. The illness Kate faced in silence. It was March when the world froze. The Princess of Wales sat before a plain background, her voice calm, her gaze soft but resolute. In January, I underwent major abdominal surgery in London. At the time, it was thought my condition was non-cancerous. However, tests after the operation found cancer had been present. My medical team therefore advised that I should undergo a course of preventative chemotherapy, and I am now in the early stages of that treatment. It was not just a royal statement. It was the voice of a mother, a wife, and a woman who had spent more than a decade under the public lens. In that moment, Catherine wasn't just a princess. She was every woman who had ever been blindsided by a diagnosis and forced to navigate uncertainty with grace. And then came whispers, soft at first, hesitant. Could there be another child? A fourth heartbeat to join George, Charlotte, and Louis? If Catherine were to have a fourth child, it would be a deeply personal decision, said royal commentator Emily Andrews. It's not about the crown nor tradition. It's about healing, family, and legacy. The silent message on the balcony. The afternoon sun slipped through parting clouds at June day, casting a soft golden hue across Buckingham Palace's stone facade. This marked the royal family's first appearance together on the palace balcony since trooping the color in 2023. Among the assembled royals, one figure radiated a different kind of light, the Princess of Wales. Standing beside Prince William, her presence was poised as ever, her smile composed yet gentle. But beneath that serene exterior was a reservoir of untold trials and quiet strength. While the crowd erupted and cameras fired in rapid succession, a nearly imperceptible exchange unfolded. William turned his head briefly, his eyes finding hers, and then something shifted in her face. Her smile blossomed into something more radiant, warmer, more intimate. That wasn't just a smile, explained body language specialist Nora Hibbert. It told a story of everything they'd weathered. Pain, hope, connection. When she looked at him, her whole face softened. That's not protocol, that's love. Veteran royal photographer James Waddling caught the moment through his lens. Behind that resolve lies a deeper influence. His late mother, Princess Diana. William has carried her spirit forward, kneeling to his children's level, teaching them empathy through bedtime stories, showing them how to give back. "If I can teach my son to feel real empathy, then I've succeeded," he once said, his voice cracking slightly. The child the world never knew. Now, as whispers of a fourth child grow louder, the palace finds itself at a crossroads. Critics question the timing. She's just finished chemo. How is this even safe? Yet supporters rally with compassion. If any woman can decide what's best for her body, it's Kate. She's strong and she deserves happiness. Doctors remain cautiously optimistic. While chemotherapy can have long-term effects on fertility, said Dr. Hannah Wilcox, it's not always conclusive. Every woman's body responds differently. Kate, always quiet in her suffering, never addressed the rumors directly, but those close to her noted a subtle shift. She was smiling more, walking longer distances, laughing louder with the children. "There's a serenity about them lately," said a palace aide. Not because the storm's over, but because they found a rhythm in the chaos. For William, a fourth child would be more than a new addition. It would be a second chance. The trauma of losing his mother at such a young age never left him. "He wants to be the kind of parent Diana wanted to be," said friend Tom Bradby. "Present, loving, human." As summer wanes and autumn approaches, the world watches and waits. Will there be a fourth child? Will Kate's healing journey continue its hopeful trajectory? Only time will tell. But one thing remains certain. In a palace echoing with centuries of tradition, William and Catherine have carved something rare, something real. Not a spectacle, but a family. The world may revere them for their lineage, for tiaras and inherited power. But what it treasures most is their humanity. And perhaps that is their greatest legacy. Love that speaks louder than any crown ever could. What do you believe happened behind those palace doors? Was the secrecy an act of protection, or something deeper? The truth, as always with the royals, may be more complex than we'll ever know.